Everybody, clearing. All right, so this is going to be a DM check-in, and we're just going to look at friend zone or not. So if you are kind of in the friend zone, or you think you might be in the friend zone, or whatever, take it as it resonates. Let's look at friend zone or not right now in the connections. So first off, let's see, what did the Divine Feminines need to know about this theme of friend zone or not, emotionally, mentally, and physically? What can we see for the Divine Feminines? Thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the Divine Feminines that join me here? Okay, snap. Okay, we got the Death. So this is birth, death, rebirth. It's in the midway point. When it's in the inverse like this, I take it that we're in the ascension portal. It's underway. It's not what it used to be. We're going between the initial stages of connection, going through a transformation, and it's going to pop out the other side, a brand new entity, a brand new animal. And Eight of Wands, which is my telepathic or energetic connection card. So feminines, emotionally, if this is worth sticking with, if it warrants you waiting to see what will happen next. That is not the same as being in waiting energy. When you're in waiting energy and you're spinning your wheels and your life is off track, that's not necessarily productive or good feeling. It's a suffering motion. This is a curiosity. If you're in alignment with this, you're openly curious because you're getting legitimate guidance, spirit guidance, to stick with it, to watch and wait, to see what will come of it, to up level through, changing your opinion from lower vibrational things to potentials and possibilities and abundant ways of looking at things. So yeah, friend zone or not, it's like this death energy could also be a period of abstinence or integration where the sexual connection is not focused on, but there is a reconciliation of energies based on the chemistry, what has happened in the past, the circumstances, and then a cooling off period to come up with a new awareness, a new truth about where you each stand. So there are these ebb and flow motions in the journey that are really geared to intuitive interpretation. So yeah, it looks like there's a period of time right now where two things, feminines, you can trust what your emotions are telling you, that it's not finished business and there's more than meets the eye going on here. Even if there's a lull in the sensual connection for whatever reason, your intuition is tipping you off that it's a progressive, productive, meaningful pause in that way for a reboot, a recalibration. What can we see for the conscious mind, for the feminines? What do the feminines need to know on the intellectual level about friend zone or not at this time? What is it we can see? Yeah. So Page of Cups, there's a surrender, unconditional love. The Page of Cups is the sweetness, the innocence. So this can be also that there is a pause in the sensual connection, the sexual connection, so it can come back into like a beginner's eyes, a budding love, a new, more ascended connection. When there's an emotional, physical connection by both parties, and that is authentic, whoa, hubba hubba. So yeah, oh my gosh, sorry guys. I've still got that little bit of a cold. I don't want to stop the recording, but I don't want to sneeze. Okay, so physical, what can we know? Oh, yeah. So, the chemistry may have kicked off in these connections, but it wasn't sustainable. It was like an energetic high five. This is what's possible. We've got this thing, but then life happens and we have to use that as a goal to elevate as a consistent way of life. And so in these connections, they've tipped off in a magical way, and then we go back into oh my gosh, what a mess, I'm a mess. We go back into this integration phase. So there's a new level. It doesn't mean that this is you know, the last cycle of pause. It doesn't mean it's the first. We have many of these, at least one on the twin flame journey for this purification, like for the initial spark to transform our lives so that we're union ready. So, you know, 1, 2, 3 or more periods of separation are not uncommon, so that these different levels can be integrated. Sometimes we do multiple sessions like that with one person. Sometimes we have karmic partners and soulmates that bring us through some of those lessons, and we don't have to relearn them with our perfect match. But sometimes our perfect match does, you know, bring us through this kind of learning as well. But let's see. So in the physical, what do we need to know about friend zone or not at this time? Page of Wands now. So Page of Cups, Page of Wands. It looks like there's going to be some very sweet messages back and forth that aren't necessarily hot and heavy. These are like innocent messages or friendly messages, spirit guided messages, casual messages, getting to know each other on a kind of sweet, flirtatious, innocent level, but without the focus of the hot and heavy, let's just say. Okay, so feminines, yeah, there's this return to a more grounded, approachable energy, because sometimes in these connections they can get a speed wobble or get a little bit awkward. But now let's dive into the masculines. So where are the masculines consciously with friend zone or not? Where are they actually telling themselves on the conscious mind, like about all the different aspects, how they're thinking of this connection, of their divine feminine, how they're feeling, what they want to manifest, what actions they're taking, all of that. Let's see what they're consciously aware of. And then let's see what they are. So consciously, their angle of approach, their strategy. And then I'm going to get this, what they would do if they had no fear. Like, so they have some kind of deliberate stuff that they are navigating. This is if they were unguarded and threw caution to the wind, what they would, how they'd be showing up, or, you know, what they'd be doing in these connections without a filter. And then let's see what they would say to you, knowing that we're seeing how they're approaching the connection and what they would do if they had no filter. Let's see what they would say to the feminines at this point. And what is coming next in the connections? How are the masculines going to be showing up in the connections next? I guess we'll also do, what do the feminines, any advice for the feminines based on what we'll see here? Any other considerations that we can have for the feminines? Okay, we got 5 decks on the go. Let's do it. So, how the masculines are approaching the connection in general at this time. Okay, 5 of Swords. This is my card of free will accountability. So the masculines are really looking at the way that they approached things in the past. Their intuition was trying to tell them things, but they were fighting it. They were resisting it. It was giving them a headache because they're like torn. Now they literally see it's what they make of it, and they're learning that when they've betrayed themselves, it hasn't turned out well, and when they have followed their heart, they've gotten the results that they've wanted. They've been in alignment, so they're figuring out how this energy between the two of you works, and it's more about whether they're honoring, when we're talking friend zone or not, it's more about whether they're honoring that authentic attraction or denying it, or whether they're pretending it's there when it's maybe not, because they feel that's more masculine to, you know, have a false sense or a false investment, faking it a little bit. So whichever it's been, and I'm sure it's been a bit of both for them, that they've been genuine and insincere at times, they're learning that whichever side of it they look at, it doesn't matter which energy they're in, as long as they're authentic, as long as they're true to themselves. So this connection has taught them unconditional love, because it doesn't matter if they're actually into the feminine or they're really into the feminine, as long as they represent that truthfully, it seems to go smoothly. They're catching on to this finally. And instead of like the expectations and the pressure to be one or the other, because that's been a lesson in the energy that sometimes when they're not feeling it, the feminine represents a pressure. Sometimes when they are feeling it, the feminine represents a refusal or a disinterest. And so masculines are learning to read all of the cues and see how it all works together. They've had various different experiences here. What are they thinking about the connection in general if they had no filter? Open-minded, like that this is not like other connections. This can be a stubborn card, like bullheaded a little bit, to tunnel vision. In the inverse, it's like questioning their reality. It's causing them to realize they're manifesting the results that they're getting, and they are really understanding it's what they put in. It's not so much a gospel truth that it's one way and they're trying to play catch up with figuring that out. They're now understanding that it is how they look at it. And the more accurate they represent their truth, the more positive the feedback, the more aligned the experience is. What would they say about this? This love scares me. Yeah, because it's literally, they have carte blanche. Like they know that whatever they want to do, they'll achieve it here. So if they want to blow this to smithereens and be dastardly, that's what's going to happen. If they want to love you to the stars and the moon and back again, they can get that. They know that you are here for it, that you will respect them, that you will honor them, divine feminines. And so it is really what they bring to the table is what they get out of it. And what they're scared of is their own greatness, their own full potential, their own creativity, their own boundlessness, their own limitlessness. They're really starting to touch on this, that you are the one perfect mirror that will stride for stride match them on every single level. And that is an awesome thing to realize they've just accessed. So yeah, it's awesome. It's scary in the fact that it's awe-inspiring. Oh, pardon me, everybody. Oh, I just can't stay away. What is going to happen? What are the masculines going to do? They're really tackling their abandonment wounds, the left for dead, the fear that, you know, they're going to manifest failure here. This connection, believe it or not, matters more to them than any connection they've ever had. Whenever we're in a primary connection with somebody, that person is our cutting edge. Doesn't matter what the labels are you try and throw at it, even if it's karmic, even if it's abusive, even if it's a twin flame or a perfect match or an aligned one, whatever resonance you're on, that person comes into your life, that's your cutting edge with the lesson you need to learn, either directly or by removing yourself from that situation. So some of the worthiness things that we learn in difficult situations or abusive or disintegrated, let's say, it's about getting yourself out of that and not putting yourself in harm's way. As you come up into perfect match things, it's about overcoming your fear and really surrendering and receiving the love. So they are challenging this forsaken, odd one out kind of illusion that that's not going to happen here, that it is what they make of it. If they have these fulfilling prophecies or self-sabotaging things, that's what they're going to get. They're now seeing, I think we got this message a little bit yesterday, that the masculines were realizing that it wasn't just their hurt feelings, that you've done things, feminines, that they've also hurt you. Because, you know, they've had their reasons for behaving in the ways they have, whether it's a misconception or whether they just didn't see their input in it consciously. They are becoming aware of how they've been affecting their reality. And they realize that with you, what they put out, they get in return, infallibly. Literally, they're starting to catch on to this. Right, masculines. So that's beautiful. When you found your perfect match, your aligned one, it is truly like that. When you seed it with beauty, you get beauty in response. Advice for the feminines: keep strong in your truth. That doesn't mean being defensive. That literally means even in the face of your masculine's fear, you'll know they're speaking from fear because it'll kind of hit you in your gut and you'll go, oh, it doesn't resonate, but something's off, or you'll just know that they're having a wobble. Stay strong in your truth. Profess to the universe, your masculine, what you really feel, your authenticity, because it's a two-way street. So as the masculines are becoming more accountable, you're safer and safer to represent your truth.